Good morning, everyone. I am Megha, 6th semester Civil Department. So today in this class, we will be learning about operator precedence, arrays. In arrays, we'll be learning about one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. What is operator precedence? Before we go to operator precedence, let us know what operators in Java means. So operators in Java is just a symbol that is used to perform some set of operations. So in Java we have different types of operations, that is unary operator, arithmetic operator, shift operator, relational operator, bitwise operator, logical operator, ternary operator and assignment operators. So when these operators are known by us, so now let us know about operator precedence. Operator precedence in Java determines the order in which the operators in an expression is evaluated. A Java operator precedence comes into play while evaluating an expression in Java which contains multiple operations belonging to multiple types. That means operator precedence means it is the set of precisions or preferences given to the operators. Sometimes in an operation equation, there will be a set of operations have to be taken place. So many operators will be there in our equation. In that, which operator should be evaluated first? This confusion is clarified by this operator precedence. That is, we have a table. So in this table, it shows which operators are given higher preference than the other operators. So when we go in a row wise, in this row, the operators present at the left side of the screen is given higher preference than that on right. And similar way from top to bottom, when we compare here the operators present at the top are given the higher preference than in the bottom. Let us see a sample program for operator precedence. First, let us have a comment session. Program to know how operator work. First, we have to have a class definition. So let it be in public class. The class name here should be it's always a user defined name, but it should always start with a capital letter. So let us name it as precedence. Class is, now here the class name is precedence. Let us enter the class definition. Inside class definition, we have to have a main function, public static void main. Inside the main function, we have this some arguments, that is system capital S GS. Public static void main string args with square brackets. We have to enter the main function. Inside main function, the body of the program will be written. Here, let us first initialize the variables. Here I am considering A and initializing it to 10, then B to 5 and C to 1. It's just random variables given, and we need a variable to store the result. So let us take it as result itself. Result. So here result is equal to, given a random equation like a minus an operator, increment operator b minus c, in incrementing after. These two are post increment and pre increments operators. So here let us use some user interface, some interactive statements, that is some dot out dot println, just an interactive statement. This is to show how operator ends work. Not with the semicolon. Then dot we'll just leave this, we just need one extra line gap, so we are writing it like that. After that we have to I would like to show which all elements I have been using in this program. So that's why let us display it. A is equal to, so the value of a is stored in variable a, so plus a. Similarly, we have to show the other three also. Is b, will be and c. Finally, we have to print what is present in the result. Therefore, the result is equal to, so the result is stored in the variable result. That's it. This is the program. Let's run this. Yeah, here this is showing. This is to show how the operator precedence work. A is 10, B is 6, C is 2, and result is 3. Let us just make some differences like extra operators. I'll be using normal brackets. Now again the result will be changing because of operator precedence. That means some operators are given its own priorities. Now the result is 3. Similarly, we use it in this manner. Again the precision is changed. Let's change it again. It's okay, it will be coming. Now the results will be changing because we are changing the operators here. In this equation, the first this operation will be evaluated because these braces are given the higher preference than the other operators here. So the value evaluated here will be then subtracted with A. Similarly, now again let us so in arrays we'll be learning about one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, array in Java programming. Array in Java programming is not similar to the array present in C programming language or C++ programming language. In this, we have array in Java programming is not similar. So array is just a group of variables that are named. Array is a group of like-typed variables that come under a common name, and this name can be user-defined. So next, in one-dimensional array, it is also called as single-dimensional array. A single-dimensional array is a simple data array is a simple data structure that stores and collects a similar data type in a contiguous block of memory. It has only one subscript. Stored data is stored in the form of list. So in one-dimensional array, a set of similar type of variables will be what do they say? They'll be referred in a common name. So in this, this name can be user defined. And in this one-dimensional array, there will be only one subscript, and the results stored, the variables stored will be in the form of list. And the syntax for this is first declaration. Declaration means data type, array name, size of the array within the square brackets. For example, int a of 3. Here, 3 number of variables are stored in the stored under a name of a. A is the array name of data type integer. Similarly, initialization. In this, we'll have data type, array name, and empty square braces is equal to new data type. Array, new is the keyword here, and another this data type of the array should be specified here. And this one again array of size of array. For example, first we declare int a of array a. After that, we have to take a is equal to, this is initialization, a is equal to new int of 3, means 3 number of variables of data type int are stored under array a. The other way of initializing is this type, that is initialization at the time of declaration. That means we have to take data type, array name, and the set of elements. For example, int a of 3. 3 number of elements, that is 1, 2, 3 of data type int is stored under a. So let us see a program for one-dimensional array. Like class, just a user-defined name, array. Inside this, main function should be used, that is public static void main. Inside that, inside the main function, we will initialize int array is equal to new int inside int will let us take as 5 we are giving the value a of 0 is equal to 1. This is initialization. Similar way, let us just initialize the other set of variables also. Where it is at the first one. We'll store a variable 2. The same way, at the second position, we'll be storing a variable 5. Similar way, at the position 3, 1. Position 4, variable can be 6. Just random variables. And again at we have 5 variables, that is from 0 to 4 it makes 5. Here after that we have to print what was initialized. So let us use for statement. For int I is equal to 0, I less than. Here sometimes when you take for large numbers, you can just take as a dot length. You can take directly numbers when you have a short programs. And incrementing the value of I. Inside this we will just print dot out dot print ln. Inside that our array was a of I. That's it. So here it will be printing. Let's run the program. Array public static void main string args. Here we have been using a semicolon, which is wrong. So again, will not use a semicolon when we are defining a function here. I don't know what is wrong with this. Oops. See, we have entered number 1, 2, 5, 1 and 6. So these are, it is displaying again. This is the variable. This is how one-dimensional array is initialized and declared. Two-dimensional array, also called as multi-dimensional array. A multi-dimensional array is a type of array that stores multiple data elements of the same type in a matrix or table table-like format with a number of rows or columns. It has two subscripts, and it is stored data as a form of the difference between one-dimensional and two-dimensional is that one-dimensional have only one subscript. In two-dimensional we have two subscripts. That is also called as single-dimensional array. This is multi-dimensional array. In that the data is stored in the form of list. In this the data will be stored in the form of matrix or table. So syntax for declaration is data type, array name, row size and column size. For example, int a of 3, 2. Here 3 is the row size and 2 is the column size. A is it is in the form of matrix, that is a 3 cross 2 matrix of integer data type. Similar way for initialization. Initialization is first we will declare int a, a two-dimensional array here. After that, A is getting initialized with 2 cross 3 as its matrix form. The other way of doing is the initializing is A 2 cross 2, 2 cross 2 matrix and is equal to 1, 2 is the first row and 2, 3 will be in the form of second row. So here we have to differentiate the columns and rows with commas and curly braces. Let us see a program for a two-dimensional array. Again, this is the class, that is public class matrix. That's your mat, or you can write it as matrix itself. But the class name should be in caps. First letter should be in capital. After that, in the class, we need a main function. Public static void main. Inside that we are sending the arguments, that is public static void main string args. Inside the main function, the body of the letter, let us take two matrix. Initializing, this is A equal to, here first row I'd like to have the variables 1, 2 and 3. Here the first row is finished. Again separating, again braces open. Here when we enter, this goes to the second row. 4, 5 and 6 are the second row elements. Similar way, third, 7, 8, 9. When we close the complete thing, here only A is finished. Similar way, let us take another matrix, int B is equal to 4, 5 and 6. 1, 2 and 3. Third row will be same, 7, 8, 9. Here we have matrix A and matrix B, that is 3 cross 3 matrix. And I would like to add these two matrix and get another matrix. So to store that value, added value, we need another matrix, that is int C of is equal to new int. This here I'm storing the size of that matrix, 3 rows and 3 columns. Now int I is equal to 0, I is less than 3 because the maximum size is given as 3. I is less than 3, I plus plus incrementing. Inside this, we this is for only one side, that is row. Then inside that we need again for columns for j, int j. We have not initialized in the beginning, that's why int j is equal to 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus incrementing j. Inside this we will be calculating C matrix, that is C of I and J. This is rows and columns is equal to, I said we will be adding this to matrix and storing that in the matrix C. So A matrix of I and J should be added with B matrix of I, J. After that we need gaps, no, like a proper orientation of how to print the matrix C. So system dot out dot println C of I, J. Plus, for proper orientation only this is used, or else it will be like so close enough, like we won't feel much better with that result. So after finishing this for loop of columns, we need another system dot out dot println. This is only for the purpose of having a gap between the matrix, or else it will be clumsy to see. Let's just run the program and see the output. What is wrong with this? I have been using here println, and that's why it's coming like that. Yeah, here this is the matrix that is adding 1, 4 and giving us 5 here, 2 and 5 giving 7, 3 and 6 giving us 9. So this is the matrix C, that is addition of matrix A and matrix B. So we have come to the end of this presentation. Thank you ma'am for giving me this opportunity to express my thoughts on what I learned. Thank you ma'am.